in the chat box, say hello, and let's dive right on in. So, our first story is Kyle Richards finally on the chopping block when it comes to returning to the next season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? So, according to the Daily Mail, she is being pretty much put on blast by the producers and saying, if you don't start telling the truth, if you don't start, showing your life with your alleged mistress, girlfriend, lesbian lover, Morgan Wade, then we're not going to bring you back. So, this is according to the Daily Mail, and it is an exclusive. It says Kyle Richards is being squeezed by Bravo. DailyMail.com has learned that the brunette beauty is being pushed to agree to discuss her relationship with 29-year-old singer Morgan Wade for the sake of her series, The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And Bravo is insisting she must come clean about the secret romance if she wants to appear on season 14 of the hit reality TV show. Quote, the producers feel that Kyle has said all she can say about her split from Mauricio Umansky, and now it is time to tell the truth about her dating Morgan, said a source. Kyle has beat around the bush a ton on Morgan, and it's getting old. It is time for her to finally admit if it's more than a friendship. The 55-year-old sister of Kathy Hilton has insisted that she and Morgan are just friends. But as we know, she's been playing in our faces, doing, girl on girl music videos, calling the paparazzi on each other, doing tattoos. She's doing the most. And the producers are basically like, you need to either come clean that you guys are in a relationship or like drop the fake crap. Like stop the fakeness because everybody is on to you. Basically, get out of the PR relationship or show the real romantic relationship or you're out. Okay, let's keep going. While the source did not explain if they were an item and broke up or are still seeing each other, they were clear that it was more than a friendship. Now, that I disagree with. I never thought that Kyle and Morgan were really in a romantic sexual relationship. Then again, I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. But what do you guys think? Do you guys think that Morgan and Kyle really were? Whether or not they still are, but do you think it ever really was sexual? I always thought it was more of a PR relationship. Kyle was using Morgan for some sort of bizarre storyline and to make Mauricio jealous. And then Morgan was using Kyle for a come up, for clicks and views, merchandise sales, all of that stuff, album sales. Because now Morgan Wade is like on tour with like Alanis Morissette and she's doing all these festivals and she's now a household name by being associated with Kyle Richards. It seemed to me they were using each other, but for different things. But it never seemed like it was a genuine sexual relationship. But again, that's just my opinion on it. Let me know what you guys think. Okay. The article says it was more than just friends. It was more than a girl crush, said the source. Again, I don't know if this source is planting things because that's what Kyle wants out there. We always have to consider the source, but since the source is not being named, I don't necessarily believe this. I don't think Kyle puts a label on it, but it's something spicy, I will tell you that for sure. To me, this sounds like them trying to plant these stories to get Kyle back on the show. It's something spicy for sure. Like, who talks like that? Kyle has kissed Morgan in her music video, and they have also been seen being very touchy in public with a photo of Morgan sitting on Kyle's lap making the rounds. But they have never confirmed an official romance and have insisted they are just friends. And the insider explained the attraction. Morgan treats Kyle like she's the most beautiful person in the whole entire world, and that is intoxicating, said the source. Yeah, I'm really not believing this source because from everything I've seen with Morgan and Kyle, she seems like repulsed by Kyle. She called Kyle a stalker. She was like, she stalked me. And she seems very repulsed, like she's tolerating Kyle, not that she's into Kyle. That's just how I've always seen it, but let me know what you guys think. Kyle really does feel like she is pretty enough, that she is funny enough, and that she is smart enough when she is with Morgan. This seems to me more of like this source, which I think is probably Kyle or Kyle's publicist, is really more of a dig to Mauricio because clearly Kyle doesn't feel beautiful with Mauricio. She doesn't feel pretty enough. She doesn't feel funny enough. She doesn't feel smart enough with him. That's why they're splitting or separating, right? Because he ignores her. He takes her for granted. He has had alleged affairs for the last decade plus. So, of course, she feels some type of way like I'm not enough for him. He doesn't prioritize me. This sounds more like Kyle doing a dig at how she doesn't feel with Mauricio rather than how she genuinely feels with Morgan. You know, it's like somebody on Instagram doing a fake post trying to get their ex's attention, pretending that they're in a new relationship with someone and being like, finally, the man who treats me right, who loves me, who does everything, blah, 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 blah. But the truth is, you're just trying to get your ex jealous. That's really what it seems like is going on here. Okay. And there is the age difference. Morgan is in her 20s and everything is fresh and new and fun. Morgan makes Kyle feel young again, said the source. They travel and do fun things together. Plus, Morgan is easygoing and she makes things just easy for Kyle. Kyle is naturally a very anxious person, and Morgan settles her down and brings the calm. Yeah, nobody wants to put up with that. Like, nobody. Being with Morgan is very different from being with Mauricio. See? Ding, ding, ding. This is all about Kyle putting out her narrative about why she's splitting from Mauricio, trying to get his attention. Then I think about the genuine sexual relationship between Kyle and Morgan. Okay. Kyle was already trying to show Mauricio that she was pretty and smart and pretty, funny, and smart enough. She was always trying to dazzle him. And I think it just got exhausting for her, added the insider. Exactly. She has said she is a different person now that she is not drinking, and I think she has a no BS shield up. So she is not the same as she used to be. She is super real these days. Also, with Mauricio, it was always about the bills, the kids, the planning, the issues. She doesn't have baggage with Morgan. Well, she doesn't have a life with Morgan. When you talk about bills and kids and planning and issues, that's because Kyle has been with Mauricio for 28 years. They have raised 4 children together. They have multiple homes and multiple businesses and multiple television shows. So, yeah, of course, Kyle doesn't have that with Morgan because Morgan is like a 29-year-old person out here trying to become the next country star. She doesn't have a life with Morgan. So, duh. That's like when a guy who has been married to his wife for 20 years and she's been with this man forever, and then he gets like, you know, a young hot thing and is like, it's just so easy with her. There's no baggage with her. Yeah, because you don't have a life with her. So, I don't know about all that. And I'm not defending Mauricio. I'm just talking about, you know, the reality of human relationships, right? Cuz if it were me, I would feel some type of way. Anyway, but Kyle has not been super real on the show. She has not wanted to say a lot on Morgan, no, but who knows? Maybe she will for season 14, added the source. Again, I still think that this source is someone from Kyle's camp planting these seeds to make sure she gets her contract back. Because I think right now, one thing is for sure at Bravo, the executives at NBC are not playing around anymore. We are seeing people being fired left and right. They are being sued left and right. The whole thing about Andy Cohen being demoted or fired or put on pause, I think that's a very real rumor. I think anybody who is employed by Bravo, I think they're probably much being put on notice right now, ship up or shape out, and that everybody is replaceable. Nobody is safe. And I think at this point that includes Kyle Richards. So if she wants to come back and play producer and act like she's above the fray, I think she's going to be out. Because at this point, Bravo isn't playing around. Look what they did to Giselle. You know, she was the darling of Potomac, not because she really was, but because she was their willing puppet. She was their willing, producer on the side, producing things and doing whatever on the side as a talent. So she was a willing puppet, but even with her, she got kicked out of her first seat. She got put on notice to come after Robin and won, which she did. They're not playing around anymore because the network itself is losing money, losing ratings, is losing public favor. So when the money and the advertisers and the ratings start to slip, they're not going to protect anybody, puppet or not, favorite or not, because at the end of the day, what the executives care about is the money, the bottom line. Are you getting ratings? And if you're not getting ratings, you're not getting advertisers. If you're not getting advertisers, you're not making us money. So they're not going to protect their puppets, their producers on the side, their favorites, if those people are not making them money. Because at the end of the day, this is a job for everybody involved. It's a corporation. Okay. Kyle is smart, she is savvy, and she will do the right thing for her career and family. Kyle and Mauricio still live together and they are in their LA house. Neither one has shared the real reason for their separation. Now, I have my thoughts on what I think the real reason for their separation is, and I'll tell you guys what I think it is. And again, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying this is the truth. Allegedly. I think that when the rumor came up that Mauricio and Dorit were having some sort of affair, whether it was sexual, whether it was a flirtation, when that kind of came about, then I think that was a big hit to their marriage. And then I think the other rumors about Mauricio, with alleged women of the night or with alleged women who alleged sex workers, you know what I mean? And some of them may have been trans women that he may or may not have been with, allegedly. I think the fact that that rumor resurfaced and people started talking about it again, and I think that maybe Kyle believed him when he said it was a lie 10 years ago. I think fast forward a decade, fast forward it being resurfaced, maybe he told her, or maybe she finally got out of denial that maybe those rumors were true. Again, this is my opinion. This is all alleged. I'm not saying this is a fact. This is just an idea that I have. This is just a theory, okay? And I think that compounded with the Dorit, compounded with him not prioritizing her, decades of cheating allegations, the unfortunate death of her friend, him not being there emotionally for her. I think all of that just compounded. But I think that's kind of what it is. And I think that's why she won't say exactly what happened. Because if it's just Mauricio cheating with a hot young thing at the agency, that's palpable. People would understand that he was cheating with me with someone or something, blah blah blah. But the fact that she won't say it and she seems disgusted by him, not that that sexual act is disgusting, but she seems to have this sort of like, you know what I mean, against him. I think it's deeper and I think it's baked in. And I also think she wants to protect her children. That's what I think is going on. Like she literally is like, don't kiss me, don't touch me. So that's what I think. And again, that's just my opinion. That's conjecture. Who knows? Until they come out and say it, we don't know. All right. Kyle and Maurice, okay, and it says Richards may not want to go back to the show. Now, Richards not wanting to go back to the show, I have my own theory on whether or not she wants to come back or not, and I'll get to that later in this video. Okay. In March, she said she is undecided on whether or not she'll return to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills for season 14. Speaking to Extra at the Elton John's AIDS Foundation's Oscar party, the sister of Kyle Richards and Kathy Hilton said she was ready to put the current season behind her and isn't sure if she'll come back. People keep asking me, are you going to come back? Are you going to leave? It's always something I decide last minute, she explained. Well, this is also very suspicious, right? Kyle may be on good authority, seems like the decision is hers. She doesn't seem like, "Well, they haven't asked me back. I haven't got a contract yet." She seems very confident that whether or not she comes back is 100% her decision. When you talk to other housewives, it's always like, "Well, they haven't sent out contracts yet. I haven't been asked back yet, so who knows? Well, wait." She seems pretty sure that, like, if she wants to come back, she is welcomed. I don't know if that's necessarily the case anymore. Maybe in the past, but right now, who knows? But she's acting like it's her choice. I always thought they had to ask you back. Maybe she knows something we don't know. Okay. I think this season particularly because I had been under the microscope, not just with the cast, but in the public eye, it's been very challenging to navigate through that when I'm just trying to figure out life myself. Okay, Kyle, then how about you just shut up and take a pause? If being on reality TV is such a burden for you, you're trying to figure out your life, you don't know what's going on, then just don't come back. Just say I'm not coming back instead of pretending like all of this stuff is going on and being famous and making all this money is such a burden for you. Then stay off the show. Au revoir. Arrivederci. Adios. Bye bye. I don't know. What do you guys think about this? What do you think about Kyle being so cavalier that it's really up to her? It's her choice whether or not she comes back. And do you believe that the producers are putting pressure on her to show more of her real life, to show more of this alleged relationship with Morgan Wade? I think it's true. I think the producers are really putting the pressure on her to be more honest and forthright about her alleged relationship with Morgan. Because I think it was pretty much apparent that this was just a fake PR relationship. And I'm going to play a clip that I found from this TikToker who really breaks it down.
Does anyone else find it highly suspicious that nearly days after the Beverly Hills reunion taped, these two delete all trace of each other on Instagram? I mean, Morgan nearly deleted everything, and Kyle deleted all traces of Morgan from her feed. And I have two theories as to why. The first, Kyle wasn't truly honest about her relationship with Morgan at the reunion. Maybe Morgan was expecting a declaration of love, Kyle saying that yes, they are in a relationship, and that they're not just best friends. But instead, Kyle stayed silent. My other theory, though, and probably the truth, these two were never together in the first place, and this was all a PR play. I mean, do we remember those photos of them getting frozen yogurt together a few months ago? Like I said in that video, Peps never hang out around that frozen yogurt shop, so they absolutely called them and told them where they were gonna be. Maybe Kyle did this for relevancy, maybe she did it to distract from her and Mauricio, but this relationship is feeling as fake could be. And again, I don't think it's a coincidence that the reunion wrapped a few days ago. Season's over, Kyle had a storyline, everyone did what they were supposed to do. Let me know what you think. Were these two ever real, or did we get totally played?
I think she summed it up perfectly and has basically reiterated everything I said from day one. I think Kyle and Morgan completely fake, completely PR. And the only reason why they, quote, got back together and started posting and being together again is because of, us, like TikTokers like that and YouTubers like me who kind of called BS basically. And I think that they didn't want the smoke. They didn't want the backlash. Morgan was coming out with a new album. She's going out on tour. She didn't want the backlash. So they picked up the PR relationship. And now, as we see, I think that Kyle is going to pick up that PR relationship with Morgan again to give her relevancy and a storyline for season 14. Number one, because the split with Mauricio is pretty much being covered by Buying Beverly Hills. Like, he's talking about it, he's exposing it. We got more about their marriage on Buying Beverly Hills than we on Buying Beverly Hills, his Netflix show, than we did the entire season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So Kyle really doesn't have anything. Like, what does Kyle have to bring to The Real Housewives now? Kind of nothing. So I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. Do you think that Kyle is finally being, put to task by producers to be honest, to own it, to be honest about it? Or do you think she's really on the chopping block? So put it down below and let me know what you guys think. And do we want her to come back? Yes or no? All right. Now let's move on to our second